Throughout the entire history of the video game industry, there have been some pretty bad video game publishers and developers, but very few have reached the infamy of LJN, a company that has assaulted the market time and time again with a glut of poorly programmed, license-based games. And I'm going to be taking a look at one of them. This is Friday the 13th. Now, if you haven't seen any of the movies in the Friday the 13th series, although I'm pretty sure most of us have seen at least one movie in the series, in a nutshell, they're basically about a serial killer named Jason who slaughters groups of people one by one. Now, exactly what type of game would you make out of a series like this? A survival horror game, right? Well, no, instead we got an action side-scroller. Nothing wrong with that as long as the game's good, right? Right? Right. First off, let's talk about how the game works. In this game you control 6 camp counselors and have a group of kids to protect. The goal of the game is to kill Jason a total of 3 times. The game's over if he kills all your camp counselors or if he wipes out all the kids. If he comes after the counselor you're currently playing as, he'll show up in front of you when you're on the road. And on rare occasions, you'll find him in a random cabin. If he goes after the kids or a counselor you're not playing as, you'll know when you hear the Jason alarm. When you hear that alarm, you have to check your map and see which cabin he's attacking, and get over there before the timer runs out, otherwise you'll lose either a chunk of kids or a camp counselor. I should also mention that Jason isn't the only threat in this game. Throughout the game you'll be facing crows, wolves, bats, and zombies. Spoiler alert! They're not in the films. As I said earlier, you control 6 camp counselors, however only Mark and Chrissy are the only ones that are useful, because they can move fast and they jump the highest. The other 4 move slowly and they don't jump very high, so they are pretty much useless. The system for retrieving items and weapons is complete garbage. The weapon you start off with is a rock that doesn't even do that much damage, so you have to get the knife, but how do you get it? Jump and pray that one appears. That goes for other items as well, such as the lighters, the healing potions, and the keys for the cabins in the woods and caves. The only way to get those is to jump around, and they'll appear randomly. The only items you can get through sensible means are the sweater, which you can get by fighting Jason's mom, and the flashlight, which you can get by lighting all the fireplaces in the cabins. Getting weapons better than the knife is also nonsensical. You can get the machete after 55 kills. Any weapon better than that you'll have to get through other means. In the cabins with the fireplaces, you'll find notes telling you where you can find better weapons, such as the cabins hidden in the woods or in the cave. However, getting these weapons is easier said than done, and here's why. While there is a map for the camp, the geniuses who made this game didn't even think of adding maps for the woods and cave, so you're guaranteed to get lost in those areas. Not to mention that you will need the flashlight to see the pathways in the caves. However, that still won't prevent you from getting lost, since there isn't any map. If the Jason alarm goes off while you're in those areas, good luck trying to find your way out. Actually, now that I think about it, the woods isn't even worth going to unless you want an axe or a machete. I've already explained earlier that there's an easier method of obtaining the machete, so there's no reason why you should go to the woods or caves for one. As for the axe, as it's only slightly more powerful than the machete, I wouldn't say it's worth going through all that trouble for one. The cave, on the other hand, is worth going to, since you can get an item that acts as body armor, and the best weapon in the game on the 2nd and 3rd day respectively. Though you'll have to face Jason's mother beforehand. Though some of you might not even see the pitchfork is worth the trouble, as you can get the torch, which is the 2nd best weapon in the game, by looking in one of the cabins near the lake. The torch does just as much damage as the pitchfork. The only reason why the pitchfork is considered the better weapon is because it's faster to use and can take out multiple enemies in one hit. Now for the map. In the other reviews I've seen of this game, people tend to complain about the map, saying that it has a confusing layout that makes you unable to tell if you're going left or right. I actually find the map's layout pretty simple. Let me clear this up. It's not really a matter of going left or right, it's a matter of going clockwise or counterclockwise. When you're going to the left, you're going clockwise on the map. When you go to the right, you're going counterclockwise on the map. It's really not that hard to figure out. Woods and caves excluded, this applies to all areas of the camp. Even the lake, which is a problem. Now, the lake is an area you'll need to go to in order to get to the kids' cabin while Jason's attacking them. Now, since there's that possibility of going in the wrong direction, that's more time wasted on your Jason alarm counter. And the more time you waste, the more dead kids you have. It really doesn't help that you're a sitting duck while on the lake. The zombies that jump out of the lake are manageable. You can dodge them, you can kill them, but then you've got Jason who just swims across the screen and attacks you. You cannot dodge that at all, you cannot jump or anything, you have no choice but to take that hit. There is also a chance that he'll attack you multiple times, so you will be missing a huge chunk of your health unless you got a Game Genie cheat active. Now you're probably thinking, alright, no problem, I'll just heal up when I get into the cabin, there's an option for it after all. Oh no. Oh no, that's not how the healing system works in this game. You see, that option to heal? That's actually to heal the other camp counselor in the cabin. There is no option to heal yourself. The only way those health potions will work on you is if you have your health reduced to nothing, and even then, only a small fraction of your health is restored. Moving on, the cabins are in this 3D layout that's really awkward at first, but after a while you tend to get used to it, though you'll still take the occasional wrong turn. As for the music, there really isn't that much to talk about. There are only 4 tracks in this game, and 3 of them loop every 5 seconds, so yeah, that can get a little annoying. And now we get to talk about fighting Jason. On the first day, the combat system is alright. It starts you off really easy so you can get used to it. Jason moves really slowly, and all you have to do is press down and left or right on the D-pad to dodge an attack. On the second day, things get a little more challenging, as sometimes Jason will speed up and launch a double strike that can be a little difficult to dodge, but if you have a good reaction time, you should have no problem. Unfortunately, the programmers screwed the combat system up on the third day, as Jason will move so fast that you can't hit him without taking a hit yourself. And considering that he does more damage to you than you do to him, you're guaranteed to die. So yeah, because of this, the game's unbeatable. Fighting him on the road can also be pretty difficult, as he has no distinct pattern to the way he fights, so you're more than likely to take damage from him if you encounter him there. All in all, this game is a poorly programmed mess. Here we are 8 minutes into this review, and I've said nothing but negatives about this game, so you're probably wondering, hey, Coffee, are there any positives to this game? Well, aesthetically, the game looks great, it has a nice day-to-night transition, and it has one of the funniest game over screams that I've ever seen in a game. But that doesn't help the gameplay. Really, the only good thing about it gameplay-wise is the controls. But even then, that only applies to 2 camp counselors. Other than that, there's really nothing positive that I can say about this game. Maybe it could have been good if they spent more time on it. Like, maybe take the time to think of a better way of obtaining items. For example, have an enemy drop a certain item after every certain number of kills. Also take the time to make a map for the woods and cave. Get rid of the 55 kill thing so that maybe there would be a point to go to the woods for the axe or machete. Balance out all the camp counselors. Oh, and polish up the combat system so that you could actually fight Jason on the third day. And they could have given him a distinct pattern while he's on the road so you can fight him properly there too. But no, they didn't do any of that, and they just rushed it out so they could make a quick buck. And as a result, we got this mess. But this is LJN we're talking about after all, so this really isn't a big surprise.